Hey everybody, it's me Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant-based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level, indicate with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to great days. So today I wanted to go over codons and upgrading the codons, right? So let's get into this. This is very. I'm gonna simplify what can be made complex, right? It's not super complex, but it is genetics, right? It is gene work, so it can be a little complex. But I'm gonna get into it, simplify, right? So there's codons. These are like you can think of them like carbon intelligence switches type of things like this, right? These are little intelligence within the functionings of the genetics, right? So um, and you can do your own research just so that you can get a better picture, right? Get it illustrated for you. But the codons, they're within the genetic level, right? So they're having to deal with various different abilities, expression, our form that we're holding right now, these types of dimensions. So what I wanted to go over with the codons is that you can upgrade your codons, right? Obviously, you got to be aware of the codons in order to upgrade them consciously, but they can upgrade themselves, or you can upgrade them maybe subconsciously, right? So I read this story. It was about there was this boy. I read it from this book, right? But there was this boy who he was born with AIDS, and he was pretty much living his life with checkups and whatnot because he had HIV virus. And about 5 years pass. He's about 5 years old. He goes in for a checkup for his AIDS, right? And they're just gone. So the various different the doctors or whatever you want to call them, the supervision of that whole operation was kind of boggled because he cured himself of AIDS, right? And this is a real story. Um, So he cured himself of AIDS in about 5 years' time. He was born with them, and 5 years ago, 5 years later, he cured them without any known cures at the time. You know, there's still no known cures, um, which I'll get into later about cures and whatnot for the uncurable diseases. But the boy cured his AIDS, right, of himself. So they started doing research and they found out that he upgraded his codons, or he activated some that were supposed to be switched off, right? So he was able to do that. It's a mutation. He was able to go through transmutation due to the due to him having AIDS. He kind of developed he went through the transmutation, right, to activate the codons and become immune to the AIDS virus, right? So you can do the same thing. You can do these types of things, but you have to break into a certain intelligence, a certain dimension of intelligence, right? And the way that I wanted to go over it is if you connect yourself with the sun, you can or maybe even the Akashic records. But if you connect yourself with the sun, you can maybe pierce into an intelligence or pick up on an intelligence within yourself that's going to be able to consciously or maybe even subconsciously fluctuate at the codonic level, right? So by this I mean if you're able to pick up on a certain frequency of intelligence by connecting yourself with the source or the sun, you you will be able to most definitely realize how to fluctuate at the genetic level within the codon um, sequencings, right? So let me see. I think for most people, it's we only have a few that are active or something like this. I can't quite remember the information about it because I'm more just I kind of just go off of the subconscious, right? Which is a better way to do it because the subconscious can dissolve into that. But if you're able to shift them through fluctuating the vibrational level and expanding the awareness into the genetic level, opening yourself up vibrationally, then you can most definitely tamper with the codons, right? But then there's also systems that keep you from being able to do this in the first place, so that you don't butterfly effect and kind of throw everything off, right? Because if you mess with your codons, it puts everybody else, or it affects everybody else because it's working within a causal effect type of thing, right? But you can break through that system that is supposed to insulate that ability to fluctuate at them, or you can break through that system that is to keep you from tampering with them, right? Because you can tamper with them on a conscious level. If you open yourself up vibrationally, then you're going to open up genetically. So there's entanglement within the genes, um, because your vibrational level is off put and you're living disharmoniously, right? The whole industrial movement is disharmonious at its rooting or its core. So because it's disharmonious and because everybody's living within this disharmony, we're entangling ourselves, right? And this involves entanglement in all aspects, if we're within that. So on the genetic level, our DNA is getting entangled. It's entangling within itself, and it's petrifying. It's not able to open itself up and fluctuate in a free flow. But it's kind of like, it's just like a net that's kind of entangling in on itself, involuting itself, right? So this is killing our flow, and it's because it's disharmonious. We're living in that energy. Um, but you can open that up, right? You can most definitely open the entanglement of the DNA up, and it's going to be synonymous with opening up your vibration. Your electromagnetic field can be opened as well, right? It's there, but it's stagnant, right? It's not only stagnant, but it's also damaged because there's various different systems that are here to make you sick on multiple aspects. And one of these would be like like the 5G or various different radiations, right? They can poke holes in your electromagnetic field and make you sick. Um, but sick, they can make you sick on a level which you aren't including within your normal state of awareness. So it would be making you sick on a level that you're ignoring because they don't want you to know that there's a whole war, frequency war, right? So and within that frequency war also they can fluctuate at the codonic level. So you can take that into your own hands. You can fluctuate at the genetic level. You're doing it right now. You just don't know about it. You're not aware that you're doing it, but you are doing it. So you got to expand your awareness into the dimension of intelligence where you're functioning or you're functioning on the genetic level, right? So you just got to become more aware of the genes or your genetics, your DNA. You can do your research. You can use the internet, but if you just go through it, let's say intuitively, connect with yourself and do it that way, you're going to be able to know a lot more because the internet isn't supplying us with the info that is completely accurate, right? In fact, the algorithms of the internet are here to cascade a distortion of the infinite, right? So if you skip the internet, you can do deeper work purely through your inner knowledge or your intuition, right? Things like this. So you can fluctuate the codonic level. You can grant yourself immunization to multiple different disease, right? Um, because this is within our intelligence. That's something we've always been able to do. It's just that there's various different systems that are here to keep a monetization of the human as a domesticated being, right? So by this I mean there's various different systems that are making money off of your sicknesses, and there is quote unquote no cures for these sicknesses, so that they can keep making money off of you and your laborings, right? So obviously one would be the pharmaceutical industry. This is supposed to be helping people, but it's just tricking a lot of people to to put in their hard-earned money for a lot of placebo effect. And not only that, but synthetic medicine, which only grants you addiction and doesn't actually give you the treatment or the curings that is promised or that is talked about within the sale or the transaction of the synthetic material, right? So um, they're just it's a farming type of thing, right? Um, so a lot of the pharmaceutical industries product as well is going to keep your DNA entangled. It's going to keep it petrified or just entangled, you know. Um, and it's gonna fluctuate in a way where the DNA is going to stay within a closed state when you can open it yourself through just connection with source, right? This source is going to be able to do all this for you because it's the source of creation, it's the source of life. So if you connect yourself with the source, all of that is opened up to you and it's completely free. It should be free because that's your right, or that is something you are seated with, right? which is universal consciousness. Universal consciousness is what you are, or is what you can be in, or is what you can be in. But there's many systems that are keeping you away from that because it poses a threat to whatever they're doing, right? To keep you fixated on the unessentials, right? So to fluctuate at the codonic level and to grant yourself various different abilities like immunization to multiple diseases, connect yourself with source. That's the first step to being able to do anything, because without the source of life, you're not going to have life to do anything, and you're just going to be you're just going to be a slave, or not a slave, but half dead, right? So you got to connect yourself with the source, connect yourself with the sun, and through the sun you can gain the proper energy levels, which is life. Energy is life. You need to raise the life energy within yourself in order to be able to do anything. Otherwise, you're a sick person, or you're a diseased person, or you're just disconnected. So you got to connect yourself back to God, or the source of life. And that's all there is to it. All the other stuff comes inevitably with the rise of intelligence, right? No disease should be incurable, because everything can be cured purely with thought. But we're not vibrationally opened up enough to access this ability, and that's because there's systems that are keeping you from that power, right? Cancer can be cured. It's been cured plenty of times, but there's still no cure for it. Same thing with AIDS. All the incurables have been cured plenty of times without medicine or synthetic medicine, right? So they can all be cured, but there's information is very powerful, and the overstimulation of information that is being mostly consumed by the mass is the type of information that is keeping you in that same inability to realize that power, right? So it's definitely possible, and it's simple because life is simple. In fact, it happens of itself, but you got to shift the tension. You got to connect yourself with source energy in order to be able to open yourself up vibrationally to come into that intelligence, because it's definitely a shift of intelligence, right? Um, Beyond the laws of physics, because the laws of physics are not actually, they're not true. They're lies. There is no physics. Physics doesn't exist. The laws of physics are just there to keep you blinded and in a certain dimension, right? That's what all laws are for. So the laws of physics don't actually exist, but they're put in place in order to keep you blind, right? So you can definitely fluctuate the codons, do your research on codons, but use your intuition, right? Um, use your dreams as well. Dreams are very powerful for being able to understand yourself. All is oneself, right? This is what your ancestors will tell you if you were connected to them, but you don't know anything about your ancestors, right? Uh, and not a lot of people do, especially where I'm from, right? But that's exactly what they'll tell you. You are me, I am you, all is oneself. The ancestors also know how to fluctuate at the codonic level because they control their own evolution. We've lost that ability. It's been taken over by others, right? So connect yourself with source. That's it. That's all you got to do. Use that energy that you get from source to deepen your awareness. As you deepen your awareness, you can entrance yourself into higher and higher levels of intelligence. And higher levels of intelligence is higher and higher levels of power. Because knowledge is power. Knowledge is consciousness and understanding. The ability to understand something very well is absolute. Because it's consciousness. Everything else is just bull. It's here to distract, right? So expand your awareness. All you got to do is connect yourself to life and enjoy life. Because there's plenty of informational overload that's going to stimulate you into misery. And that information is heavily abundant because it can be mass produced, like perishables, like alcohol, right, which is straight poison, or cigarettes, tobacco. These are heavily mass produced. They're not proving to help anybody. And information can be mass produced 10 times that rate, right? And people can consume it all day. And information is perception. And perception is reality. So the information you're consuming is deciding your reality. So if it's poison, your reality is going to be poisoning you. And all of that affects your genetic levels, your expression, the form that you're currently taking. So align yourself, and that's all you got to do. The rest can happen yourself. Deepen the alignment process, deepen your awareness, heighten your intelligence, become more intelligent. Grant yourself higher levels of life, and that's all that is needed. All the other stuff comes with that, right? So that's gonna be it for today's video. I do thank everybody for watching. Once again, peace out, one love, and have a great evening.